Yes, very good, dear Astromania. Well, today I am going to make a short video comparing two guide telescopes or two telescopes that I have been using as a guide to see how the quality is, compare prices, etc. I mean, this angel eyes that comes is officially sold for a guide telescope. It's not, no, it's not programmatic. Of course, for a guide telescope, it is not necessary. And it is a doublet, but it has very good optical quality for its function, not that of a guide telescope. The diameter is 5 centimeters in diameter, but hey, the diameter is not the increase. The most important thing for the guide telescope is perhaps the most important parameter of the focal length, which is 180 millimeters or 18 centimeters. And the other telescope is this Gescayer is really almost like a toy telescope, not light enough. Quite the optics do not have, let's say, the quality that this one is coming. It's not that it's high quality, I repeat, but it's made for self-guidance and has better optics because it's lower optical quality, especially in addition. The focusing system is very, very simple and very unstable because I want to compare it because it has a focus distance of 400 millimeters and the aperture is 7 centimeters. I repeat, opening is not the most important thing. It has 5, it has 7. The aperture is not the most important thing, but one of the most important parameters of the focus distance, this is focused at this point here, as you can see that it is much longer than this, which is 40 centimeters, 400 millimeters in diameter. This 180 mm, that is less than half. As you can see, it is less than half of this one. So I bought this one. I repeat, it's practically a toy. I didn't buy it besides secondhand YY, then very cheap. I think it was about $20. This one cost new ones. 90, 80, close to a little less than 100. I think, I don't know the current price when I have completed that, close to maybe 80, something like that. So this is much cheaper. No, they are not expensive. Neither of them are, but hey, this one was much cheaper for me. And I not only bought it because of the price, but because I thought, let's see if mistakenly that to put the telescope here, the 1 MMIT has to have a focal length of 1 meter, the same for the other one. For this electron that I have from my house grain, which has about 2 meter focal length, that is long focal length, because I thought that a guided car with a telescope with a longer focal length was more precise, because we have greater pixel resolution, right? And so that's why I bought it. Especially thinking that this one, although the optical quality is inferior, but hey, remember, for self-guidance, you don't need a great image. Simply that the stars look decently focused. Let's say I don't need high quality because I thought this one was going to be better because twice the focal length. I repeat the resolution for self-guidance. Chase to be more exact, then let's see if he was wrong or not.
Well, I'm going to start with this one, with this telescope with a longer focal length that I repeat. It has less quality. It's practically a toy. It's still cloudy, as you can see, mostly cloudy. So I'm waiting for it to clear up. Supposedly falls at 12 p.m. Then a little more because it will be completely clear. I'm also going to be doing another one, taking other images, etc. But hey, first I'm going to make the self-guided with this telescope, then with the angel, if with the other one, which is more, let's say, made for more specialized self-guided, better quality, really, let's say. But hey, I'm going to start with this one and let's see how it goes. Now for self-guidance, it is of course the equipment. No, the mount is not really at the limit of this combination since it has approximately 8 kilo. This mount without counterweight, the U-way without counterweight, the limit is 13, which means it is quite below, but hey, a relatively heavy piece of equipment. This is electron and mica grain. And then, of course, for both guide telescopes, I'm going to use everything else. The weight of the mount will be the same, and the guide camera that I am going to use will be this, the monochrome ACIS 174, this camera that I started using recently. Of course, so that there is no difference between the two telescopes, except the telescopes themselves. Well, since I'm from here, from my house, I don't have it from the balcony. I don't have access to the North Star. And also because the U-way, as I have said other times, doesn't have a phone to fly, well, I'm using the Nina to do the polar alignment. This gives me the advantage that I can show here that the polar alignment for both, of course, I'm not going to move the mount, so it's going to be the same. But hey, I'm going to do it anyway. To show here is not an extremely exquisite alignment, let's say about 40 minutes and 29 seconds. As you can see here, it left a total of about 40 minutes, I think 40 and a half minutes. But hey, both telescopes are going to have the same error. So it's not, no, it's a big problem. In other words, the important thing here is that everyone has the same parameters, except, of course, the telescope. Always also the focus is important. But as I said before, the focus is not critical as long as it is focused quite well. It doesn't have to be something exquisite because it is not something critical. So I repeat instruments, that is mounts. In the other instruments that it will have, that is the weight that the mount will have will be the same. The same guide camera, the monochrome ASCII 174, and the polar alignment. About 40 minutes plus or minus 40 minutes total error. So I'm going to stop here. It was just to show them about 40 minutes. But hey, both telescopes are going to have the same error. So there's going to be no difference. So I'm going to begin the self-guidance with this one using the G-Sky Air to see how it performs. Let's then start the calibration with this one. With the G-Sky Air, we will take a star and let the system automatically choose one before starting. The highway will tells me here to build a bookstore. DART is using 174, which is 111 new camera, the 174 monochrome camera. I don't remember if I have in this profile that I'm using the DATs already configured. So I'm going to configure the DATs and we'll be back. I'm going to configure the DATs to have the DATs on both. And well, that is on equal terms. Okay, well, I have already done the library to give. We are going to start the guided car. That is the calibration. So it will be the calibration now is a process that takes a long time, but it takes a little time. So I'm going to ignore this process because, well, the important thing is not this. But once calibrated, we are going to see what the error is. Self-guided, well, this is the tracking with the Yeskier. This cheap telescope has been around 1 second, 0.96 seconds. As you see now, 0.95, around 1 second, which always puts below 1 second, 0.90, and so much. In other words, it is a good monitoring. I can't complain for the instruments I have, even for this one that is now on. The serve strong falls in mica green because with about 1 second it is a good monitoring for long exposures. So I can't complain or use this telescope, which as I said is cheaper than others and has a longer focal length, which supposedly allows it greater precision, not the second of Alco. Let's see then with the angel eyes, with the other telescope. Let's see how the follow-up is. Well, then we are going to use the angel's eyes. In fact, I am not going to move the telescope to the position. I am going to start the guided car more or less in the same position. Yeah, exactly the same area of the sky where the car was being guided with the other. That is, everything would be the same. The mount, the polar room, the main telescope. That is, the weight of the mount would be the same. The mount, of course, the U-way. And then we're going to see the same camera, of course, the A6-174 monochrome. And the only difference, of course, is the guide telescope. We're going to Angel's Ice. Let's see how the result is. Well, here we have the guided car with the Angel's Ice is really a little superior to the Alice Care. But
Everything is
very relative. The difference really isn't that big. Now, what is the
difference.
The 10 car is cheaper, but it is bigger. It needs to have a larger focal window. It has a focal length of 400 mm or 40 centimeters. Angel size more compact, only 180 mm or 18 centimeter. It is a little more expensive. Not that the difference is huge either, but hey, it has the advantage that it has better optics and is more compact. Now, if we want to save a little money, then we can buy this telescope. I say G-Sky, but it could be anyone else, right? These telescopes that are seen to be very light plastic, generally the focus and so on. So actually the distinction is not significantly large. I would opt for one of the more specialized ones, such as Angel's Eyes, because it is smaller, possesses better optics, and the price difference is relatively minor.
Well, as you can see, let's say that there are no big differences in general. It has a better guided car, I imagine. Of course, it's because of the optics. But the difference with this one is not big. So if you want, well, buy something cheaper. You can buy one of these telescopes, even secondhand, that they sell it in, I don't know, in marketplace, or it depends on the country where any of these sales sites are not true.
Online, yes.
Does it work the advantage of this one a little better?
Guided, yes.
The other advantage, well, it's more compact, right? So if in the end we are going to have more or less the same quality of guidance, even a little better, and we are going to have smaller equipment for transportation, etc., well, it is also the much better approach. Well, I recommend this. But I repeat, it depends on your conditions. If you want to save something, then buy this or this type of telescope very cheap. Well, there are practically no toys for children. If you want something more compact, a little more precision, then
Buy it.
these types of telescopes, iOS.
Eyes open.
There are numerous brands available in the market, and they all cater to this segment. $80, $90 if you buy it on AliExpress. Of course, it is cheaper. But what is my recommendation? Well, that's up to you. Not much of a difference to me, not even the price either. The difference is huge, so I leave it to your decision, but they both work. Well, that's all for now. I hope this video has been useful to those who are starting to put together their astrophotography sub-equipment, because the self-guided telescope for the self-guided, because it is a fundamental piece, and you can see that it is not something super demanding, so you can focus more on the main telescope. Camera, of course, the mount, which is essential, and well, it was a small brush stroke.
To talk about these
instruments that are part of the equipment, say astrophotography, which are often not taken into account. Thank you very much, as I always tell you, and until the next video in Astromania.